Okay, coming up next on the Rouge, White, and Blue, Joe tells me about his experience attending the 112th Grey Cup, and I try not to relive the horror of watching the 112th Grey Cup as an Alouettes fan. After this. Hello, welcome to the Rouge, White, and Blue CFL podcast, Americans Talking Canadian Football, a production of the Shotgun Sports Network. My name's Oz Davis. I'm the co-host of the show, and joining me, as always, is my friend and co-host Joe Pritchard, just returned from Winnipeg. Well, not just returned.
Yeah, it's been about a week.
It already feels like a dream. Well, hey, let's just do it. We've done this many, many, many times before. Now, how many cups have you been to in total, Joe?
That was my 9th.
9. All right. Okay. And so how many in Winnipeg?
That's my third in Winnipeg because the first one I did was like 2006 when I'm just starting to warm up to what this is. Am I going to like pursue this? Am I going to be more than just somebody that knows it exists? So that was actually my second CFL game because I had gone to Labor Day earlier that year. And then with Grey Cup in Winnipeg, it was just, okay, let's just do it all, right? And the next time I went to Grey Cup was 2015. So, and that was also in Winnipeg. Convenient because, no hotel costs and it's easier to get there at that point. And later in life, I have a little bit more money and a little more free time. And hey, by the way, we had just started this show. So, like, I better go.
Good rationale.
Yeah.
To go. Yet another one. Okay. All right. So, I would like to know in general. Yeah, let's just talk about the experience in general. Maybe we'll do the positive stuff later. How were these events in light of the whole ticket dispensation controversy?
Didn't hear a whole lot about it because I was hanging out with people that had gotten their stuff way earlier.
Okay.
Don't know how many of the people I would have normally seen I didn't see because it felt like I was busy from start to finish. Usually we take more time at the convention center events, but we also had a lot to do for CFL Fans Fight Cancer. We did a lot of pickups of goods people had brought in. We didn't go like first thing on Thursday, which is like 4 p.m. We went a little bit later because we had other things we were working on, as well as the Tweet Up event, or what was the Tweet Up event. Was a Thursday at 3 o'clock thing instead of like a Friday or a Saturday. Right. So that gave us a good start. And by the time we had gotten to the convention center, it was like 7. We also had more things to do in the morning on Friday. So instead of starting convention center at like 1, it was later in the day again. So we did a little bit less of the convention center visits, your normal Spirit of Edmonton's, or Bomber House or what have you. We didn't do as much of that as we usually do because we were working on the Saturday event.
Okay. Nice. Okay. So tell me about the CFL Fans Fight Cancer event, Joe. How would you compare this year to previous years? What happened this year, etc.?
I think we did pretty well. And I mean, by we, I was a small cog in a big wheel. But I say we because my best friend in the world was running the event. So I got deputized to do a lot of things when I was there. The thing that I had set up beforehand was all the different MCs. which, announcing prizes and introducing all the various entertainment we had. So a lot of my work had happened beforehand, and then as the week went by, everything changed, and I just had to keep up with who was going to be where and who was going to be available and when. All ended up working out. We had actually more help than I expected, so that worked out really nicely. I ended up playing tech support a lot because it's a bar, and bar sound systems are not exactly the easiest things to navigate. And at one point, I had to go find a charging port for the iPad because the iPad hadn't been plugged in the night before, and all sorts of fun things like that, right? So the event, I mean, that's a place that could hold like 300 people, I think, and it was full like the whole time. Now I'm on the second floor the whole time for the most part, up in the balcony area where we had all the prizes and all the silent auctions, and just making sure the MCs were getting where they needed to go, had the scripts they needed. I don't think I sat down for more than about 10 minutes the whole time, and we had gotten there about setting up. So it was a whirlwind. It was 7 hours of let's make sure this thing keeps humming. And I have to say, we came into the day with about 36,000 already banked from various other CFL Fans Fight Cancer events that had happened beforehand, a lot of donations, and we ended up over 70. So that day, we doubled what we had. So as far as everything went, I mean, given what we had going in and given all that happened that day, I think we had a very, very, very positive event that day.
Cool.
Very few snags, and the few snags that we had were handled as quickly and as best we could.
Great. Fantastic. Okay. Nice work, Joe. Nice job. I'm sure it is appreciated.
Yep. Just it was a lot, and I look forward next year to sitting in the booth and having a beer instead of running around the whole time.
Yeah.
We'll let somebody else do that next year.
Okay. All right. I hear you. Okay. All right. Well, let's talk about the game itself. Now, first off, one of the things that was touched upon during the TSN broadcast was, the nice hefty crowd and the nice representation of Bombers fans. Was this your feeling as well, Joe?
There was a lot of blue in the stadium.
Yeah.
Bomber fans are CFL fans too, right?
Right.
And the weather was great for Winnipeg in November. It was right around 0 Celsius the whole time. Not a ton of wind, so the weather wasn't going to keep people away. And the Bombers were in it up until 2 weeks beforehand. Not a lot of people are going to come in from out of town to Winnipeg if their team makes it late. But except for Saskatchewan fans, and there were plenty of those, I would say just a rough estimate from looking around. About a quarter of the stands were Rider fans.
Really?
Because they're only coming from like 5-6 hours away, right? Like they're good. They're the ones that are going to come. Probably not a whole more Montreal fans than I expected, but still, when it comes to the Grey Cup, Montreal fans are rather underrepresented simply because of the language barrier, I'm thinking, right? Unless they're going to come without having, because most of these events, I don't think there's been a Grey Cup in Montreal since 2008. So, just off the top of my head, so most of the events are obviously for the English crowd. At least half of the Alouettes fans are probably Francophone or at least Francophone leaning. So it's harder to find Alouettes fans, but there were more than a usual at a Grey Cup. Just they're well underrepresented as far as which fans travel to the Grey Cup.
I think, okay, first of all, Montreal in general is kind of, okay, there are a lot of fair weather fans in Montreal. It's like Los Angeles. Okay. It's your only, now, not the Canadians, of course. The Canadians, they sell out. They have a solid fan base always. Okay, so I think that in Alouettes fandom, there are the diehards. there are the diehards who probably go to every away game, during the season. It's again, it's like being a fanatical hockey fan in Canada. I think we have a contingent of those, and those are the people that you saw. But
Right.
that
And the
middle,
same thing, it's the same idea with Argo fans too. Like the fan
right,
base is smaller than you would expect from a city of that size, but the ones
yeah,
that are there for the duration.
right. Right. And I would say the difference between Montreal and that's a very good observation, but I would say the difference between Montreal and Toronto in this aspect is Montreal does sell out when we're winning. When they're winning, they sell out, no problem. Okay, that's what I mean. It's the same thing with any Los Angeles team other than the Lakers. As long as they're winning, they'll sell tickets. But as soon as they stop winning, nope, 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 they don't come anymore. And immediately too. It doesn't take long. It doesn't take long to lose the filled seats in the stands. So in any case, okay, good. Now, I heard on one podcast, it might have been Two and Out, that okay, so there were a lot of Winnipeg fans there, and some of them were cheering for the Owls, and some of them were cheering for the Riders. Is this true? Are any Winnipeg fans cheering for the Riders in this game?
Not as many as you'd think, given the proximity and the rivalry. I mean, some, are like, okay, prairie football above everything, and that's fair. West
Really?
over
Okay.
east, that
Okay.
there's there. But I would say the vast majority of the people I know and talk to were rooting for not Saskatchewan, which meant Montreal.
Right. That's what I was figuring. That's what I was figuring. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
You usually don't, you wouldn't see Edmonton fans rally behind Calgary all that much. I mean, there's
Mhm.
some that probably have some connections and know Calgary fans and what have you, and are probably um, less against them than others would be
Antagonistic.
as
Yeah.
far as rivalry goes. But
Yeah.
I'm sure I would say 3 out of 4 Bomber fans are going to be like, nope, anybody but.
Right. Right. That's what I was thinking. Yeah. Okay. Now, in general, you did not have a pony in this race. So
I had not Saskatchewan.
how oh okay. Fair enough. Um how did how how tense was this for
Not
you?
very. No,
Really?
not
Okay.
very.
Okay.
As far as rider teams go,
Mhm.
this was A, they were very clearly the most solid team across the league.
Mhm.
Montreal was a little bit more dynamic based off who their quarterback was, but
Mhm.
Saskatchewan was head and shoulders above the rest of the league the whole season.
Yep.
It wasn't a surprising outcome.
Mhm.
It wasn't, and there's no bad guys on that team, right? There's no obvious, hey, we don't like that guy and nobody in the league likes that guy.
Mhm.
If I wasn't a Bomber fan, if I was a fan of a team in the East, I could easily have seen myself rooting for these guys to get their win, right?
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
didn't root for them simply because of the rivalry. At the same time, I wasn't all that upset about them getting it because they got a lot of good guys on their team that hadn't gotten one or hadn't got one in a while. Corey Mason's a great coach. Trevor Harris needed a capstone to his career. It wasn't like you weren't rooting against a team full of Garrett Marinos, right? It was okay. I don't want them to win, but I don't
Nice.
want them to win. I'm not going to
Right.
be terribly, terribly upset if they do. And that's
Right.
exactly how it played out, too, right? Like they were in control most of the game, and Montreal got dynamic near the end and got things going again, made it a little bit more
Ugh.
exciting at the end than it could have been.
Yeah, but they weren't, Joe. They weren't, man. That was the thing. That was the thing. They won the second quarter 14-0. The second quarter was the nightmare. This was anything that could have gone wrong for the Alouettes did. Okay. First
Yep.
off, time of possession. 11-4. That's been a loser. Whenever the Alouettes lose this season, that's why. Because our quarterback isn't getting the job done. Davis Alexander did not have the zip in his game until, excepting about 3/4 of the fourth quarter. he didn't have, it wasn't there. He didn't have like the energy and the emotion on the sideline. I theorize he was probably taking some painkillers for his leg, which was also, an issue in this game. What else happened in this? The other, and for me, okay, I just want to say this straight up. I don't even want to wait to get to this. Okay, I don't want to be that guy that blames the game on a bad call by the ref. Okay, however, and I mean, I'm not saying that that's what happened with the pass interference call in the second quarter. Okay, however, that was, and I even wrote this down in my notes, that was basically when the Montreal Alouettes hot streak ended. You could see it right there. That was it. This winning streak we've been on, that 8 out of the last 9 games, including the ones that mattered, the Davis Alexander winning 13 in a row. That was it. As soon as Kabion Ento was called for the pass interference, okay, on a play call that was quite surprising because it was 3rd and 2 on the 4. And Corey Mays, who had been incredibly conservative, especially since the Riders have clinched a playoff spot, all of a sudden he's become incredibly conservative, calls this play. And I thought he stopped it. I thought Ento stopped it fair and square, clean.
All I'll say is it looked good in the stadium, and the video boards are pretty small in Winnipeg compared to a lot of other places. As far the look we got looked like bang bang. It was surprising it was overturned, but that was the football gods giving Corey Mace kudos for using the entire field in a short yardage situation. Okay. Mark that down. We'll come back to that thought, right?
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right. You tell me. Because, that, I mean, for me, that was a killer. We stopped that. We stopped that play. It's a totally different game. We're deep in our own territory. We probably have to punt, but still. The truth is, the Riders won that second quarter 14-0, and that was game over. That's all they needed.
Right. Take that out. They salted away the third quarter too, and kept Montreal from making a game of it until too late, basically.
Right. But I was not surprised about a late game comeback at all.
No, I thought it weren't. Montreal wasn't going to be stuck scoring 7 that whole game, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, no, I thought even going into the game, I thought that's the way it was going to play out. I mean, again, in the second, that's when AJ Ouellette ran wild. He had a great quarter. That was his touchdown. When he scored, it was 15-7, but it already felt like it was over. It was just the feeling of the game. To start the second half, Mario Alford had the long run back. Mario Alford, who hasn't been on the Alouettes since 2019, 2018. I still miss. He burned us on a run back. Trevor Harris was just throwing at will. They had a nice. They went on a nice run in that second quarter, early third quarter. They did.
Yep.
They were looking good. Nightmare situation. Finally, they punted for the first time. I had this noted. They punted for the first time in the third since, it might have been the first time in the game they punted. And the response to this was just Davis Alexander throwing another pick. It's like, oh my God, it was bad to worse. And I was wondering at this point, okay, so I wrote this down. maybe you can help me with this, Joe. What's worse? Okay. Watching your team lose big in the final game or not even being in the finals. What's worse? Because I was imagining, like a 38-7, at this point in the game or 45-7.
Losing big in the final game stings a lot more in the time that it's happening, obviously.
Right.
And it makes the Grey Cup week a lot less stressful as far as that goes. At the same time, you want a seat at the table, right?
Right.
You don't have a chance coming into it if you're not there.
Okay. But I mean, okay, so at this point, when I was imagining the 38-7, 45-7 game, at that point, I was kind of thinking I'd much rather be watching the Ticats taking this, than the else. At that point, just to be a sadist about it. Now things started to turn around. Right, about halfway through the third, at the end of the third quarter, Stevie Scott got warmed up in a drive. He finished it off with the touchdown. I thought that was pretty nice.
We were talking in the stands, and we're like, if Jason Moss remembers he's there, he's going to be a problem for people next year.
Oh yes,
he's got nice size. He's got a lot of. He's got some vision. He's got some ability to make moves. Like, what more do you want in a running back?
Yeah, I know. I feel like we're getting 2022 William Stanback back. That would be awesome. That would be very nice. Okay, now again, like I'm just hoping that. Oh, by the way, they noted this on TSN. So at the end of the third quarter, the time of possession was now Saskatchewan 26, Montreal 19. That means that in the first and third quarter, Montreal was +4. Right? So again, and the score kind of reflects this. Montreal wins those two quarters. What I thought became interesting for the Riders is that they began. They didn't let it get out of control, but they began kind of, unraveling a little bit. 3 unnecessary roughness, roughing the passer penalties in this fourth quarter. They felt like they were kind of losing their nerve a little bit here in the fourth. How bit of a roller coaster here in the fourth. I remember Montreal has a 2nd and long on Saskatchewan. Starting to feel a bit optimistic here. We're starting to envision the comeback. But then Emilus makes the long reception, ultimately sets them up for the field goal, which they miss. So how is the not Riders contingent feeling at this point?
It's a game.
Okay. At any point were you optimistic of an Alouettes comeback?
Pretty much all the way down to what? 1st and goal at the 3? Okay. Because you make that, you get either you get the 2 or you don't. There was some time left, so even if you don't get the 2, there's a chance you get the ball back with a chance at a field goal, right? Obviously, you want the 2 to tie it, so that way the Riders have to play for scoring again.
Right.
But even so, if you know that they don't have to score and they're trying to salt it away, you've got a good chance of doing that.
Okay.
But remember that thought we were holding earlier?
Yes.
That Corey Mace was given the grace of the football gods for using the entire field?
Yes.
Jason Moss was punished for not.
On the Patterson play?
Yes. because that was from the 3.
Okay.
First and goal at the 3.
Okay.
You're going to need a yard each single plunge, and the Riders know you're going to do that likely.
Right.
Like if Jason Moss had his way, the end zone wouldn't be 15 yards long in 2 years. It'd be 15 inches long, right? Like, goodness. It's first and goal at the 3. Use the field. Spread it out, right?
Yep.
You in your normal shotgun, or even putting Alexander under center if he's got the health to do that, which was an issue. He was limping around at that point because he clearly hurt it earlier on a scramble. But even then,
he came in weak. You could tell.
But put Patterson in the shotgun if you have to give the threat of the run. Because then you can at least run read option. You've got the rider spread out. Or you could run read option. Literally run it. And pull it, and you got an open guy in a slant probably, right? You have so many different ways of doing it.
Nice.
And if you have to put Patterson in there, be conservative. Hand it off the first time. And you have Stevie Scott, right? And you've got the defense spread out.
Yes.
I mean, that's the other thing. You're bringing in a cold quarterback to run 3 plunges. In August, that might not be a problem. In November, well, clearly his hands were too cold, right?
Okay. Well, yeah, there you go. Yeah. I wanted to ask you about this at the top of the show, but I'll come back to that in a minute. But on the first snap, he got to the goal line. He did. He got 3 yards on the first play. Yeah, exactly. So, oh my god.
You took a gigantic field that we're not going to have in another year or two, and you shrunk it. Why are you doing that? Why are you helping your opponents? First and goal at the 1, fine. You need 1. You need 3, and the defense is motivated to win the stinking championship.
Yeah,
like you're going to get their best.
Yeah,
like at least make them think about where the ball's going, right?
Right.
But that's been a problem for years, right? It almost seems like that's the only thing teams want to do anymore.
Well, it seems to be a foolproof play, right?
It's proof that they're fools, right? There's a high percentage on these, but you got 3 plays. Go get it closer, and then you can plunge from the 1 if you gotta. A lot easier to get 1 than 3, or 1 3. A lot easier to get 1 time than 1 3 times.
Yes,
and you might get lucky. You might pop through.
Yes,
but you might also get stuffed and have 2nd and 3, and then what do you do? 2nd and 3. Now do you spread it out and you've wasted it down? I don't like it at all.
Well, you bring Davis back in and hope that they don't make him run. You know,
I mean, if at that point, I think Davis would have hopped on 1 leg to get in, right?
Of course. I mean, he would have been saying, "No, of course I'm going back in." But that was the thing, you know. I mean, we're still away from the bit where Alexander is hopping on 1 leg, right? I mean, the Riders get the ball back. They get a dumb, unnecessary roughness call on Roulette. I mean, the Owls get the ball back. I mean, this thing was a roller coaster. But I gotta say, the fact that they had the ball with 30 seconds left, possibility of tying the game. I was looking at the timer bar on my live feed, which was not live. I was watching it the next morning on recording. And I was thinking, wow, you know, there's a lot of time left. Maybe this thing goes into overtime. And then I was forgetting that this was the Grey Cup, but they're going to do all this stuff afterwards. They're going to have talks and stuff like this. And so I was like, damn, they're not going to make this, are they? And but still, at this point, just the fact that we had the ball with 30 seconds left. I mean, I just love my Alouettes. I mean, they couldn't be killed in this game. They could not be like removed completely from the game. I was happy that the way the defense came back actually in the second half, after that second quarter, after that first bit, the first couple series of the third quarter. I was glad that
Noel Thorpe loves the blitz. That's been his MO for God. I feel like he's been Montreal DC since before we started this, even though he's been in and out a few times.
Yeah.
And Trevor Harris is a good blitz killer, right? Mm-hmm. So it wasn't a great matchup for Montreal, just that in that regard.
Yeah.
But they did lock it down later on. Yeah.
Yep. And it wasn't a good matchup in the fact that they were, statistically speaking, they were bad against the run this year. And not just in total yards, because a lot of time teams were running on them because we had roulette, we had player X at quarterback. So a lot of times you could run on them, but just in terms of per carry, per time of possession, stats like this, they were just bad against this. And you saw it in the second quarter. AJ Ouellette was taking advantage of this. So yeah, bad matchup for the Owls. Good game by the Riders. I guess congratulations. I just wanted to ask, what's up with Winnipeg? What's up with Winnipeg? I was expecting cold. I was expecting some wind. You can't give us any wind?
No.
You can't. You can't take this. You can't make this weather a little bit more extreme. I mean, Jesus, when we played the Riders before.
I mean, I've got to sit in the stands for 4 hours.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Fair enough. Yep. Okay, so in any case, I mean, I picked the Riders by 1. I figured it was going to be a low-scoring game, but no, there was a few points in this game. One of the guys that works for the Riders official website or something like that, maybe he's the PR guy, he was writing about how this had been the only 25-18 score in Riders history.
25-17?
I'm sorry, 25-17. 25-17.
Feels right.
Yeah. He said that this was the first time this score had ever happened in Riders history. So it's a scoregami.
Yay!
Rider scoregami. Yeah.
At least my misery has a value. I will say that as soon as the ball was, what was that? Last play of the game, was it picked off or knocked down or whatever?
Yeah.
We're on the aisle. We were up the tunnel in about 10 seconds.
Why? To get to your car?
We didn't want to see the Riders celebrate on our field, right?
All right.
Like, okay, good on them. I'm not going to sit here and prolong this any further.
Ugh.
We also the way the stadium's constructed, in the upper deck, there's 2 ways to get down, and we're in the middle. So it's like either which way we go. And then, of course, we want to go out the one way, so we had to go and make sure we were out of there before the stampede starts, right?
Okay. Yep.
I mean, there's an advantage to having a buddy who's a season ticket holder that knows exactly where to go and how fast to go. And also where to park and all that fun stuff, too. There's only like a 10, 15-minute walk back to the car. That's not too bad. And then we're pointing, there's a highway in the south part of Winnipeg called the Pembina Highway. Goes right up the middle of the town. And we parked out. So the stadium's on one side, we parked on the other, and pointed the opposite way so that we could get out and not have to deal with that highway.
Right. Nice. Clever.
Winnipeggers know what I'm talking about.
Now, okay. So for other Grey Cup wins, have you stuck around? Did you stick around when the Owls won?
No.
Okay. All right.
The only one I've stuck around for, I haven't stuck around because I didn't get to go to 21 because COVID was still a big thing.
Okay. Right, I remember.
No, we're getting good at this exit quickly and keep your head down thing. 2019, we were there for like a half hour, 45 minutes after the game. For some reason. And like the other ones, you don't feel like you have to rush out, right? kind of cool to sit there for like 10, 15 minutes, take it all in, and let have the fans be excited about their team winning.
Yeah.
When it's not your team or the team you just played or your rivals.
Right.
Kind of a cool thing, right?
Yeah. I don't know. As a fan, whenever my team loses in the championship, I kind of, I'm in stunned mode. I just like, because they're showing it after the game, everybody's celebrating, and I'm just, just.
Well, I mean, the worst thing was last year in Vancouver when we walked to the stadium. We were close enough to walk and have it be a reasonable walk.
Okay.
And stopping at a bar after the game for or a nicer like grill, right? Bar and grill type place.
Okay.
And just knowing that the TVs up here and up here are showing the team that just beat me celebrating. So
they weren't showing.
Because for a while we were mastering the sad A&W on the way home, right? Because in Regina and in Hamilton there were like A&Ws right next to where we were at.
Nice.
So just pick that up, have some sustenance, and get the hell out of town the next day, right?
Right. Nice. A&W, sweet.
Yeah. And we didn't do that Sunday night, but I did it Monday because my buddy had to leave at like 4:40 to catch a flight to Phoenix for work. So I ended up hanging out at his house for like 8 hours after he was gone. And then I took an Uber to the airport. Wow. So I had my sad A&W the next day.
But you did have the A&W. Sweet.
Yes.
Sweet. Nice.
Something about the root beer is a restorative.
It is very nice. Okay, so I don't know. I just wanted to. I guess we can do the thing. What was this year for you, Joe? The year of parody? How would you?
Yes, for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that Rider team was necessarily far superior than everybody else.
Okay.
They were Winnipeg in 22 and 23 with a better ending.
Right.
Where they were the solid team and nobody else was in their class. Because I want to say
Winnipeg 2021, right? Or would you consider that a great team?
Yeah, like more 23, I would say, because 21 and 22, they were like head and shoulders above the league.
Okay.
And just played the worst fourth quarter they could have possibly played in 22. And like points to the Argos for winning that fourth quarter.
Yeah.
But if we play that one again, I think they win 7 out of 10 times, right? 23, maybe they're coming back to the pack a little bit. They're still the solid team. They're just missing that element of dominance that they had the last 2 years. And then like last year, they were closer to the pack again. And then this year they were the same as they were last year, but the Riders had risen up above them and took the mantle of they're the solid team. You got to knock them out. They're not going to beat themselves. And this year, Winnipeg beat themselves a bunch of
times. Well, the thing, I was thinking about this. There's a lot of, in football, this often happens, where you close the year strong, and then it's the next year that you're the dominant force. But you usually cool off before the playoffs, right? Or you lose in the championship, or you lose in the playoffs, right? On the way to that thing. I feel like the Riders put together, a 20-game streak in one season.
Of just being solid. Yep.
Right. That was it.
And they had started that streak the year before, too. Because they had, remember, in 24, the Riders had that dip mid-year, right? They started out hot like they always do. They had that dip. And when they had that dip, the Craig Dickinson teams would just crash. And the Corey Mace team found another level and got back to winning.
Yeah. Yeah, but they weren't convincing.
No, they
They weren't
weren't.
convincing at
And
the end of
this year, they weren't dominant over anybody either. They weren't blowing people out. They were just, we're going to beat you 25-20. And you're going to feel like you were close, but you weren't as close as you thought.
Well, I mean, they beat everybody except Calgary, right? They handled everybody.
And Calgary, and they caught Calgary when Calgary got hot, and then Calgary cooled off.
Right. Be interesting to see what happens next year. But again, I think that I don't know.
I feel like BC is going to be the hot pick.
Yeah.
Because that offense was very, very, very good. If they can find any sort of defense to help along with that, they're going to be scary. Because Nathan Rourke is who we thought he was all this time, right?
Yeah.
Like, this was the year that was like the make or break for him, I think. Because he had 22 where he played half the season and was like transcendent, but he was hurt half the time. Then he was in the NFL 23 and half 24. 24 took him was getting his sea legs back, and then this was the year when I looked at the numbers a couple nights ago because I was thinking about something else that I wanted to check out. It's like, wait, that BC offense was championship caliber. Just the defense didn't help along enough.
Yeah, the defense was like, among the most porous in the league. I mean, this is like those old St. Louis Rams teams. Or those old in the 80s San Diego Chargers teams, where it's just like score 50, give up 45. This is just, but that this year it showed that's not sustainable. To some extent, defense does win championships. I mean, I can't remember the last time in the CFL that a real just purely offensive powerhouse won the title. I mean, you have to,
because you got to get through at least 2 games against teams that have a defense and have a decent enough offense to get to where they were.
Right. You can't just do it by scoring a lot of points. You can't. And so that's what broke the Lions this year. Now we'll see. I mean, next year they've got to get some parts on defense. They've got to. Their offensive line was fine until the playoffs. It's absolutely good until the playoffs, keeping Rourke protected most of the time. But it's the D. It's the D. They've got to allow maybe not allow 31 points a game. Maybe allow 27. maybe that'll be enough to get you at least the West title. Yeah, we will see. And BC could be that team that next year just puts it all together and goes 14-4 or whatever, and looks like a machine, and then loses to the Argos, who went 9-9 in the regular season.
Because that's how that works. We don't know who their coach is going to be, but that's how that works.
Right. Now I wanted to talk about this. I have some news items for you. Pretty wild stuff with Mike O'Shea. Some journalist caught him, saw him, spotted him in Toronto.
I was just a fan, and I actually talked to that guy at the cancer event. Yeah, just took a picture.
Okay, wow,
and it blew up and pissed everybody off in the bomber organization. But why? We knew he had gotten permission already. So what's the difference?
Yeah.
I will say, I was in the convention center. Standing there talking to Zach Schnitzer of Bonfire Sports. We were just talking about everything under the sun. Gosh, that was a half hour, 45 minutes just standing there, which is part of Grey Cup. That's the awesome part about that, right? And the gala is down the hall, and O'Shea walks by. And Zach calls out, "Hey, thanks for coming back." And O'Shea hollers over, "I never left." So I hope that was his mindset the whole time. From my understanding, I mean, why not listen? Your contract's up, and Toronto and Hamilton are close to home, right?
Sure.
But he's established himself in Winnipeg. His family is here. They're happy where they're at. But you listen in case they come over with a Godfather offer, right?
Yeah. I mean, the media had him going to Toronto. It's what's next?
Because that's the obvious. Well, it would make sense, though, right? Because Winnipeg's at the end of that run. Yep. It would have made it would have made sense in the narrative that, hey, they start fresh. But
a job's a job. A job's a job.
A job. He's happy there.
Yep. Like you said.
And he's done it once. He's rebuilt this from, well, I wouldn't even say rebuilt. He came into, like, the house was burnt down.
Yeah.
So he had to build a new house, and he did.
Yeah.
And now it needs some renovations. I think I'll trust that guy again, right?
So, yeah, it turned out no dice. This week he signed a 3-week extension.
3-year extension. Walter's 3 years. So
yeah. I was just gonna say that a couple of days ago, Kyle Walters signed a 3-year extension as well, signed a 3-year deal as well. So news stories there. You didn't happen to catch the State of the League speech?
No.
Okay.
No. That seemed like an invite-only thing, and I knew it. I knew that I wasn't invited, so I didn't even bother. I think we were running around grabbing prizes at that point anyway. So.
Okay. Of course, Commissioner Johnston announced some changes for 2026, but this is mostly superficial stuff, mostly regarding the internet experience of the CFL, having to do with, giving the teams proper individual websites, away from that website, things like that. However,
it doesn't take a genius to know that their whole web presence in the last 5 years has been utterly broken. So.
Oh yeah. It's a great website for 2003. I mean, yeah. It really needs a solution there. So, but this is mostly superficial stuff. He was then asked questions by various press members about, guess what, the rule changes. He employed the not unfamiliar tactic of, don't worry, the field's not going to be, the width is not going to change in the field. We're not going to lose 12 men.
Committed to 3 downs as well, which in September.
Kind of a politician's play, though, on that one. Just, oh yeah, don't worry, nothing will happen, right? So we'll see about that. There were some signings and whatnot. However, I did want to say this. I guess a measure of revenge for Montreal. The Vanier Cup was yesterday as we record this. And sure enough, the Montreal Carabines, I guess you would say, Carabins in English.
Carabin, I think.
Carabin, yeah. Won the 60th Cup with a 30-16 win over the University of Saskatchewan Huskies. So at least there's that. I know nothing about Canadian college football, but hey, great, good for them.
Yeah, because I want to say the CJFL, the junior football, was also won by the Hilltops. I think the Saskatoon Hilltops. So they were gunning for a triple crown, and it didn't quite.
Triple crown.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, that about wraps it, Joe. Do you have anything else?
Yeah. I mean, this was the Grey Cup I look forward to the least in a lot of years.
Okay.
Just even like from September on, it's like I've already committed, bought the plane ticket in October, but like I had committed to helping with CFL Fans Fight Cancer, so I was going. Right. If I wasn't, if it wasn't in Winnipeg and it wasn't this, I might have skipped it. Honestly, the way I was feeling about things, but just being at Grey Cup and getting to be with my people again really helped recalibrate me again. It kind of took, because it's kind of, I'll be honest, it's lonely being a CFL fan here, right? Because nobody walking the streets of where I live knows what the hell I'm wearing.
Except your son.
And you hear, yes. and the online negativity about the rule changes, understandable. I was on board with that too. Like, I'm still not completely happy about that.
I know.
But at the same time, it could have been a lot worse. I did spend a little bit of time waiting for the Grey Cup to start to like mentally clip off the 10 yards in the end zone. and move everything and go, okay, fine, is going to be the worst thing in the world. I still hate it, but I hate it, and that's not going to drive me away, right?
Okay.
Just being with my people, getting to rekindle what the good parts of this all is, really helped me just come back to sanity and reality, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was as refreshing as I needed it to be.
Okay. Okay. All right. Great. Nice. Nice. All right. Actually, you know what? There was one other thing I wanted to ask you.
Mhm.
Kind of a strange one, but okay. So, how many times have you been to Winnipeg?
We had counted that in the car too.
Okay.
And we came up with 5 times
Okay.
before, because there was a chunk of time where I got married in 2009. I didn't go back to Canada for like 5 years. There's a big like 5-year hole in there, right? But I had gone 5 times, including once in March 08 for just to go and hang out. So I'd been 5 times, although 3 of those were en route to Regina for the Labor Day games.
Okay.
So I really didn't spend a whole lot of time in Winnipeg.
Okay.
In those 5 times. Although the 4th time was around March 1, and we got to spend more time in the city. We also did March 2014, which was more of the city and the Jets instead of the Bombers at that point, because the Bombers were a tire fire, right? I mean, we're coming off of 3-15 at that point. It was going to take a while to restore things, and it did. And then it's just like, I think it ended up being like 15 times or something like that now, after I started doing Banjo Bowl every year.
That's what I was going to guess, actually.
Yeah, something like 15.
Yeah. Okay. So, what is great about Winnipeg? What is great about Winnipeg?
Great about Winnipeg? And it's the thing being that you can find beauty if you're looking for it, right? Okay. The Forks are fantastic. Love hanging out there.
Okay.
I'd love to see a ball game at their ballpark, but I always come like a week too late for Banjo Bowl, right? Because that's like the week of the playoffs for the gosh, is it the American Association now? Yeah, they got the Gold Eyes there. It's just really not even so much what is in the city itself, it's just the group of people there, right? Just so many fantastic people, so many people that are diehards about what they're doing. Just, I mean, I love the store they have set up. I love the stadium. I love hanging out with my buddy. I mean, just it doesn't even have to be specifically Winnipeg, but that helps. Okay. So many, I'm starting to establish some food choices that I like there too, like places I like to go.
Yeah,
because it's been so many times now, right? It, just not even that. It's just the atmosphere. It's just the people, the excitement. Okay. It's just not. It's not a place for everybody, but if you find the people you want to be with, you could go anywhere and be happy.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. All right.
I did like the Human Rights Museum, and as much as you can like a thing like that, it's a trip, and it's something that everybody should do once, and just don't try not to think about human nature for the next week.
Try not to think about human nature. Okay.
Right. Because it's gloves off, right? It shows you the worst of what we can be.
Yeah, okay.
It's something people should do at least once.
Okay. Yeah, I would check out the museum, but I would also debate you on that point. I'm not so sure, but that these are the worst of people. But what I mean by that, I'll have to be cryptic about. In any case, okay. Well, let's sign it off here. When are we going to do this again? A month?
I don't have any plans. I need to take December off because life gets crazy.
Of course.
I think last year we just took all the way to like May.
Yeah.
But we'll see about that. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
I'm hoping because I was a little bit low energy coming into the season to begin with. It's been a parts of my life going on, and nothing terrible. Just my son getting older, more activities. It's been hard. It was harder to keep a pulse on things, and then September hit, and it was just like. Now I feel like hopefully I'm refreshed, restored, maybe a little bit less crabby about things when we talk about them, because I'm sure our listeners could tell of a tone change and like me giving less of a crap about offending people in the last couple months. Although I'm not. It's not really my style, but at the same time, it was just I was less able to have a filter the last couple months about things. Hopefully, that being restored, seeing the Bombers get retooled will help. Just I'm hoping to have the energy back I've had in the years past.
No, I don't know. I've enjoyed the sardonicism, to be honest.
Maybe I'll keep a little bit of that, but holy cow.
There are a couple of shows where, you were teeing off.
Well, I needed to after mid-September for obvious reasons, right? I had to get that out of my system so I could function as a human being again.
No. Fair enough. Absolutely. Okay. In any case, all right. So let's cut this one off. We'll be back soon enough, I think. I'm Oz Davis for my co-host Joe Pritchard. This has been the Rouge, White, and Blue CFL podcast for 2025 season. This is a production of the Shotgun Sports Network, and we will talk to you soon.